Welcome to EQBloom, where we explore the science behind who we are cell by cell. Today we're going to look at something that sounds grim, but is in fact essential to your survival. Apoptosis, the scientific term for programmed cell death. Imagine this: billions of cells in your body quietly commit suicide every single day. And without this silent choreography of death, you'd be overwhelmed by disease, damage, and malfunctioning cells. You wouldn't survive childhood, let alone adulthood. So why would life depend on death, and how does a cell decide it's time to go? In this video, we're not just explaining cell death, we're showing you how cells choose their final breath for the sake of life. Let's start with definitions. Apoptosis comes from Greek apo, meaning away, and ptosis, meaning falling. Like petals dropping from a flower, it's a poetic name for a precise biological process. Apoptosis is a form of programmed cell death, meaning it's intentional and regulated. The cell shrinks, its DNA is fragmented, and the entire structure breaks down into apoptotic bodies, which are safely packaged and removed by neighboring immune cells. This is very different from necrosis, which is accidental and messy. Necrosis happens from trauma or infection. The cell swells and bursts, spilling inflammatory contents. In contrast, apoptosis is like a carefully executed self-demolition. It uses ATP, energy, to die well. That's right, cells spend energy to make sure their death is clean, quiet, and beneficial to the body. And here's the kicker. Your body executes 50 to 70 billion cells every day through apoptosis. That's not dysfunction, it's maintenance. Now that we know what apoptosis is, the next question is, why do cells die? Sometimes it's developmental. In a human embryo, fingers initially form as a webbed paddle. It's only because cells between the digits undergo apoptosis that fingers separate. In the brain, neurons are overproduced and sculpted through apoptosis to refine the nervous system. Other times, it's protective. Cells that suffer irreparable DNA damage, viral infection, or severe oxidative stress may self-destruct rather than pass on defects or cause cancer. And then there's immune regulation. Your thymus deletes self-reactive T cells that would otherwise attack your own tissues. That's apoptosis keeping autoimmunity in check. In every case, apoptosis is ensuring tissue integrity, immune balance, and developmental precision. This isn't just cell death, it's cellular wisdom. How does a cell activate apoptosis? It follows one of two major molecular scripts. The intrinsic pathway, also known as the mitochondrial pathway, is triggered by internal danger signals: DNA damage, lack of nutrients, oxidative stress. Mitochondria release a protein called cytochrome C, which helps form a complex called the apoptosome. This activates caspase 9, which then triggers the executioner caspases. Number 2. The extrinsic pathway is triggered by external signals. Think of this as the immune system issuing a death warrant. T cells or natural killer cells bind to death receptors on the cell membrane, like FAS or TNF receptors. This activates caspase 8, leading again to the execution phase. Both these systems coverage on the same endpoint: the activation of caspases, enzymes that carry out the cell's final dismantling. No matter where the death order comes from, inside or out, the process is clean, intentional, and irreversible. Caspases are like molecular blades. They're proteolytic enzymes, which means they cut specific proteins apart, but they don't work alone. They function as a cascade. It begins with initial caspases, like caspase 8 or 9, which then activate executioner caspases like caspase 3 and 7. These executioners cleave everything necessary for the cell to function: the cytoskeleton that maintains cell shape, DNA repair enzymes, the nuclear lamina which holds the nucleus together. As chromatin condenses and the nucleus fragments, the cell prepares to package its remains. The goal: no leakage, no inflammation, just quiet, deliberate removal. You're witnessing molecular minimalism at its finest. Now the cell is dismantled, but not abandoned. Its remnants are quickly recognized by nearby phagocytes, especially macrophages. How do they know which bodies to eat? Apoptotic cells flip a lipid called phosphatidylserine to the outside of their membrane, a signal that says, "Don't panic, I'm dying on purpose, please clean me up." Macrophages respond without triggering inflammation. They engulf the apoptotic bodies, digest them, and recycle the building blocks: amino acids, nucleotides, and lipids, to be reused by other cells. This cleanup is essential. Without it, cellular debris would accumulate, leading to chronic inflammation, autoimmunity, or tissue damage. Apoptosis doesn't just end cleanly, it restores balance. So what have we learned? Apoptosis is not a malfunction, it's not a backup plan. It is a fundamental biological process that allows life to grow, adapt, and protect itself by knowing when and how to let go. From sculpting fingers in the womb to removing self-reactive immune cells, from defending against cancer to recycling your body's resources, cellular death is a secret to your survival. At EQBloom, we believe biology is full of these paradoxes, and by encoding them, we better understand ourselves. If this kind of science opens your eyes, subscribe, share, and stay curious, because sometimes the most beautiful part of life is knowing how to end things well.